होनी चाहिए।
Okay. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahavidyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyoma Vadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। Last time we just touched upon the pranayama aspect about this yoga sadhana, wherein we saw Vayurodhanat liyate manaha jalapakshivat rodha sadhana. Vayurodhanam pranayama, meaning thereby restraining or disciplining the prana is pranayama. In other words, converting involuntary action of breathing in and breathing out into voluntary action. That is pranayama. And as we saw, that conversion into voluntary action has so many possibilities, permutations, combination. Because once you breathe in and then you breathe out and then again breathe in between having breathed in and before you start breathing out, there is a pause that can be extended. So also having exhaled, before you start inhaling, you can pause and then different permutations and combinations of this breathing in, pausing, breathing out. Breathing out, pausing, breathing in can be there. So this pranayama is in a way technical thing. And it should be done under the guidance of a competent teacher. One should not venture to do such things independently because it may have its own repercussions in terms of side effects. Because prana is primarily the power, the source of energy for all physiological functions of the body. Pancha pranas take care of all physiological functions, and all the pranas are controlled or mastered or regulated by these two, prana and apana. Now, it is like giving an activity to something which is very restless. I remember when I was a kid, in those days, those monkey tamers used to come on the street, and they will give some shows, sort of thing, some gimmicks played by the monkey. But when they come, the tamer would be walking freehand, just holding the chain of the monkey. But the monkey will be walking with the stick. And once he starts the show, he takes the stick. You know why? Because monkey is so restless that he needs somewhere to hold on where his hands are not free. Otherwise, doing like this, doing like this, doing it keeps doing. In Gujarati, parents always give an adjective to a restless child that he or she is like a monkey. I don't know whether they mean it or not, because if they mean it, then you have to think what they are. If they mean, the parents mean, my baby is like a monkey, then they themselves become the parents of a monkey baby. So anyway, it has to be thought over by them. Hopefully, they will think over. But the point is, this charmer always had a monkey, and then monkey trainer always kept a stick or something for a monkey. So also, I have seen in South, this in the forest, those who use elephants for moving the logs, they also give one stick, one log into the mouth of elephant, in the trunk of the elephant. Elephant also has a habit to keep moving its trunk. And then he'll plug some tree and plug some this tree and keeps moving. If you see an elephant standing, it's always moving the trunk. So to keep him steady, they give a log of food till the new project is ready. So similarly, when the human mind is given an activity of pranayama, but then as we said, innocent activity is prana viksha. Just you observe the breath that goes in and the breath that comes out. Observing the prana itself is an activity. You observe the movement of the breath that entered the nostrils and it is rubbing the inner wall of the nostrils. It is little warm, you feel it, and it's going in, filling the lungs and then coming out. So that is like giving a stick to a monkey, or it is like giving a log of wood to an elephant. It's an activity to the mind, which is very restless. Now, one should also understand this. All this activity, the pranayama, is necessary or helpful for one whose mind is very restless. If the mind is relatively quiet, and if you have inclination for puja, for japa, or for dhyanam, upasana, it is not necessary that one should do pranayama. It is not compulsory that one must do certain pranayama before doing something. No. If mind naturally glides into prayers, some bhajans, some puja, then this is not necessary. Pranayama may be necessary for those who have very restless mind. And the one who doesn't have inclination for the Lord, who doesn't have love for the Ishvara, who doesn't have to surrender to Ishvara. If you have it, and if it naturally, effortlessly, like Ajyadharaya Srotasa Samam, if mind can absorb into your Ishta Devata, into your regular puja, or regular chanting, or regular japa, it may not be necessary. It may help sometimes when the mind is restless, and it can be, or I would say it will be also. Because restlessness of the mind is caused by Rajoguna. Sometimes it's sleepy. Sometimes there is inertia, laziness that is caused by tamas. Now these three gunas keep interchanging, keep playing at the mental level. So it's quite possible that sometimes you are too restless. It's quite possible sometimes you are too tamasic. Those moments is possible. It is not necessary that all the time you will be sattvic. At that time, it is good to do some pranayama, but I will again tell you, if mind naturally glides it, effortlessly gels to Bhagavan, is japa, puja, kirtan, etc., it may not be necessary. Now, so I said last time, we will see the benefits as well as limitations of pranayama. Look at the next verse, verse number 12. I will just chant it once. You listen, and when I repeat it again, when I start chanting second time, when I finish the first, then I'll start again. You please join me, try to chant, okay? And we will chant together 2 times. Thus I will be chanting 3 times. First time, myself alone. And second and third time, you can join me. Chittavayava-chitkriya-yuta Shakhayor-dvai Shakti-mulaka Chittavayava-chitkriya-yuta Shakhayor-dvai Shakti-mulaka Chittavayava-chitkriya-yuta Shakhayor-dvai Shakti-mulaka. Those of you do not have the text, please take out from the Arsha group. And then again tomorrow, Nipaji or Kruti will post the same thing. You can take a printout and keep with you. When I teach, I want you to look into the verse also. Now, Sri Ramana says, the chitta and vayava, the mind and prana, what are they? Yutaha, they are endowed with what? Chit, kriya, yuta. Their chit is in the sense of knowledge. They are endowed with capacity to know, capacity to infer, capacity of abstraction, capacity of feeling, all this goes in it. So respectively, they are endowed with this capacity. So means mind is endowed with buddhi, antakaranam is endowed with the capacity to know, infer, feel, etc. And the prana, vayu, here is a prana, is endowed with capacity of action, movement, and activity within the body, without the body, outside the body also. Outside the body means by the limbs, external activity, and activity internal. Physiological functions, a kriya means all physiological functions and all the actions performed by senses of perception and senses of action. All these are the capacity of prana. Chitta vayavaha chitkriya. What are they? Shakhayoho dvai. Dvai shakhayo. These 2 are the branches of what? Shakti mulaka. They are the branches of the Shakti Mula, means the original cause, or they are the cause of the creation. They are like the 2 branches of the creative power. Now, the Ishvara or Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma is a cause of creation. What is, see, there are two Vakyas in Taittiriya. Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Parame Vyoman So Oshnute Sarvan Kamaan Saha. That is that section. And then there is another Vakya. Yato bha imani bhutani jayante ye na jatani jivanti yat prayantya visamvishanti ti tad vijignasasva tad brahmeti. Brahman is of the nature of two sentences. Satyam, Gnanam, Anantam Brahma. Okay? And then Satya means which is not conditioned by time, which is of the nature of consciousness, and which is limitless. That which is unconditioned by time and space is to be formless, of the nature of knowledge is most subtle, and the same Brahman is told as Yato va imani bhutani jayante ye na jatani jivanti yat prayantya visamvishanti tad vijignasasva tad brahmeti. That is Brahman. What? From whom? Yataha imani bhutani jayante. All beings are. Bhutas here in the sense of beings are born. All beings, being means that which is anytime. Today, tomorrow, yesterday, day after, anytime. That which is, was today, or will be. Everything is born out of Brahman. That everything sustains in Brahman. And that everything dissolves back into. Now, how can the formless, limitless, non-dual consciousness become many? Can become inert. There are inert objects. Can become formful. Can become with attributes. Can become limited by time. How? Then Shastra says that creative power for Brahman to be like this, that is called Maya. Okay? Why it is called Maya? Because the whole creation is apparent. There is no real creation. It means what? It is not creation, it is manifestation. So we say, Shastra starts by saying it's a creation, and then it negates the status of being creation, status of creation. It is manifestation. And since it is manifestation, therefore it is said, Isha Vasyam Idam. This is, everything is to be seen, that seeing is cognitive, as manifestation of Ishvara. That which is non-separate from Ishvara. How can it be? I will simply explain by one example. We can say, whole dream world is created by me and sustained by me and dissolved by me. It comes from me, sustains into me and dissolves into me. But then, if you look at it further, which creation? Which is apparent. That means I myself appear as dream. I myself, there is nothing separate from me. Anything that is just within me only, out of me only. And therefore it dissolves into me only. Therefore, they say it is swapnavat, not dream, as such, really speaking. But it is swapnavat, like a tree. And that my creative power, which creative power, which is a creation which actually is not there. I may see, I may get some, like that Swami Chinmayandi used to tell a story. He was a very good storyteller, by the way. And he used to actualize also. In those days, he was alive and he said, I had a meeting with President Bill Clinton. And he appreciated me, my work, and then the White House took a note of the work done by Chinmaya Mission in United States and across the globe, and he invited me to his Oval Office. And I went there, and he would describe the Oval Office also. I don't think he had seen it, but he would describe such a big hall, and then he was on a swivel chair, and there's a round table, and huge table, and this carpet, and blah, 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 he will tell. And the chairs were so well designed. You know those modern chairs with the thin legs and one or two legs and like this, and I will describe. And then we had a good talk, and Clinton, asked me, tell me, Swami, in a nutshell, what do you teach? And what is the benefit of your teaching? Why Indians are so attractive? And then I told him the Vedanta is to make you happy, to make the human being happy. And Clinton was so pleased that he said, even Americans need this. I said, yes, I will. Why don't you help us? Yes, I will do that, and blah, blah. And then Mr. Clinton was overjoyed in being in America, and he said, Swami, I want to give you some donation. I said, give me. And I called the secretary and asked him to prepare a check of $1 million. And then check came and he signed and he said, here is your check. Please start the work and we will give you as much as you need. And he gave me the check and I sat on the chair and across the chair I came and just touched the check and I was about to catch it. My fingers touched it. I was to clamp with the thumb and suddenly I fell from my bed. The chair turned and when I woke up, I said, Ayo, at least I should have taken away the check. The check was left over in Clinton's hand. He would say that. It was an interesting story. I wish I had taken the check at least rather than touching the check. The point is, there is no creation. That is apparent. This is the meaning of apparent. And that power for apparent creation or the cause for apparent creation is called Maya. That is true also in our Vyavhara. We use the same word meaning the same thing. A magician somehow brings out a bird from one box, brings out a tea from empty cup. And everybody who sees around, they feel it's a real tea, but it is apparent. I had seen that magic. Just took one rose in an empty cup. He showed the cup like this and asked everybody to vouch. They said yes, and then rotated, stirred the rose into the cup and covered and made some mantras. And suddenly, the vapor started coming out. And when they looked around, it was tea, real tea. My God. And then he says, now I'm very angry, at least on your audience, especially this first row audience. They are not supportive or encouraging me. They are just expressionless. I'm throwing hot tea on them. And he threw. Everybody did like this to save themselves, their skin, literally to save the skin. And my God, nothing came out. Rose petals came out. So the creation of the tea was not real, apparent. if he can really make tea, he should not do magic. He should open a Khodiyar tea stall, Umia tea stall, Ravechi tea stall, which is very famous nowadays in Saurashtra. Ravechi tea stall. Ravechi word nobody can understand except Saurashtrians. What is this Ravechi? There is some, I discovered there are great Matajis when I came to Saurashtra. First I heard this name. Name was Bhut Bhavani Mata. Bhut Bhavani. Bhut means we have shoes in mind. So Bhut Bhavani, which Mata? But then there is all Matas are there in Saurashtra. Anyway, of course, Matas are there all over the world. It is not limited to Saurashtra, but they have so many Matajis. Anyway, the magician should be running a tea stall, not showing the magic and selling the ticket. The creation is apparent. Coming back to this, for this apparent creation, the creative power of Brahman is Maya. And looking at the nature of the creation, we say the creative power is Trigunatmaka. Yes, three qualities. Because then we have some of you who attended Tattva Bodha know this. Sattva Rajas Tamo Gunatmika Brahma Shraya Maya Asti. What is Maya? Is of nature of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Again, we have discussed this in detail while we studied Tattva Bodha. That from the Sattva Amsha of all Pancha Mahabhutas, so Tasmad Etesham Sarvesham Panchabhutanam Sattvikamshat Gnanendriyani Sambhutani. From there, individually, Sattvikamsha of Akasha, Sattvamsha of Vayu, Sattvamsha of Agni, Sattva of water, and Sattva of Prithvi created respectively one sense organ. From Akasha came the sense of hearing. From Vayu was born the sense of touch. From Agni, the forms, the sense of seeing. Then from Rasa, Jala, the sense of taste. And from Prithvi, the sense of smell. So all these Pancha Karmendriyas were born out of that. And we also saw Samasti Sattvikamshat. Sattvikamsha of all the five put together. All five elements individually created one sense organs. That is sense organs of perception. And all of them collectively created Antakaranam, means called Buddhi, Manas, Chitta and Ahankara. The inner means of knowledge. That was created by them. Similarly, individually, these five elements created five senses of action, and collectively, they created prana. So, this Antakarana mind and prana are born out of collective Sattvikamsha of five elements and collective Rajasamsa of these five elements. Collective Sattva gives rise to Antakaranam, collective Rajas give rise to prana. Of what? Five elements. But they come from what? They come from Maya. Okay? So Maya, endowed with these three gunas, means the creation the expression of Maya is threefold, Trigunatmaka. And that Maya is the cause of all Mahabhutas and all this too. So they are called as Shakhayodvayi Shakti Bhu. It is like two branches of the same trunk. One trunk, suppose small trunk, has a two branches, and they are like this. What does his Acharya is trying to convey? When you shake one branch, other gets shaken. When you move one branch, other gets moved. And if one is held tight, other also is held tight. Means each one impacts the other. So mind impacts prana and prana impacts mind, because they are all, both of them are born out of Maya. It is our day-to-day experience also. When you are too disturbed mentally, angry, stress, anxiety, sadness, some thoughts, some emotions which is very overpowering you. In those, and that emotions persist for a length of time, it affects the body. That is called psychosomatic disease. Though heart attack, they say, is because these arteries are blocked. So the blood doesn't reach to the heart. When the artery is blocked, and that blockage is done by some food habits, oily food that you take, which has caused this. But if a heart patient, the person who has to undergo angioplasty or bypass or whatever, he goes to a doctor, they say even after plasty or surgery, now don't be anxious all the time, just relax, don't take stress anymore, the doctor advises, because mind affects the body. This lockdown, when I talk to Swamis, they all have become healthier than they were before. Because no tension, not by Swami, everybody is healthy now, except, Swamis I mentioned because they have a space to walk around. These grihasthis may not have a space to walk around. Of course, American people can walk a bit here and there, but you can walk, do exercise, wake up, sleep timings and waking up timings are regular, movements are regular, food is regular, obviously body, and you are psychologically relaxed, you are healthy. So mind affects the body. And when the body is sick, it affects the mind also. When you are sick, just feverish or something, and it may be around 100, 101, you don't feel like even checking your mails. You don't feel like even checking your WhatsApps, because the prana is disturbed, the mind also gets disturbed. You observe yourself also, or any TV serial or any movie, when a character in the drama or a movie is angry, his prana will move fast. It is not that he gets angry with a smiling face. No. The prana, the mind disturbs the prana. And then try this also. You just climb 3-4 stairs continuously with a little speed and reach at the top. The prana is disturbed, and at that time you cannot concentrate on something. You cannot think properly. You need to settle your prana first. This example shows prana affects the mind, and the previous one shows mind affects the. Shakhayordvayi Shakti. They are like the two branches of one belonging to one tree trunk, and therefore one affects the other, and that is how when they do pranayama, they feel peace. Understand? It is not the peace. Somehow the thought process, the thinking, I had told you like earlier, gets arrested. Okay? You're thinking because you feel breathless momentarily. And to save your breath, your all attention goes there. And suddenly the thought pattern, the thinking is arrested and you become quiet. So when you do pranayama, people say, I had a peace of mind. But that peace of mind is impacted by prana, impacted by pranayama. And that will sustain as long as pranayama continues. That's what Sri Ramana clears out is in the next verse. Look at this verse. Both of them can influence each other, but that influence is incidental. That influence in terms of quiet mind is incidental. What is incidental? Caused by incident. Which incident? The incident is that prana is somehow you have made it a deliberate activity. And that pranayama has impacted the mind. That is incident. Now, what is this state? He makes it clear. Just look at verse number 13. I will chant first once, and then we will chant together twice. Hindi mein kya dil leti. So, look at that. Laya vinashane ubhayarodhane laya gatam punar bhavati no mrutam. Start together. Laya vinashane ubhayarodhane laya gatam punar bhavati no mrutam. Laya vinashane ubhayarodhane laya gatam punar bhavati no mrutam. He says the state of the mind created or caused or influenced by pranayama are of two types. One is laya vinashane ubhayarodhane. When the prana nirodha is done. Okay? What is the prana nirodha? When you restrain your prana, when you discipline your prana, when you have made these involuntary into voluntary movements, then what happens? This twofold impact or two types of the states of the mind is acquired is called ubhaya. Ubhaya means two types. Laya, vinashane. Okay? Absorption. Laya means absorption and vinasha means destruction. There are two steps. Then he says, laya gatam, the mind which has attained the absorption state, punaha bhavati, it is born again, not born again, but it comes back to the original state, and then na umrutam, whereas definitely The mind which is destroyed will not come back. Okay? In other words, when the mind attains the state of laya, it can come back or it can be the same as before. And when it is destroyed, it will not be like before. And this is a simple translation. Bhavartha. We have to explain the meaning of laya, and we have to explain you meaning of vinasha. Okay, let us see that. When you say vinasha, please remember, doesn't mean total destruction. If the vinasha takes place, then then the person, it will see that vinasha takes place by knowledge. So the one who gains knowledge, his mind is destroyed. Then it's a real one, then he will be, in a modern medical science language, brain dead fellow. Brain dead. That means what? Person is useless for anything. As though he or she is in coma. No. Nasha, we have not to destroy the mind. Please remember, we are trying to destroy the problematic aspect of the mind. When a car is causing you troubles, you can't reach on time, or it sometimes stops and then some issues comes out, then you don't throw away the car. You solve the problem. It's a beautiful vehicle. And if you have that vehicle, you can travel conveniently. And then do travel. But then you don't try to destroy that. Okay? In other words, what is vinasha? Vinasha is discovering the mithyatva, discovering the apparent nature of the mind. The real nature, really speaking, the mind is only apparent. And if you discover that apparent nature, it is as good as destroyed. Anything that is apparent, and if you know it is apparent, it doesn't cause any problem to you. On the contrary, you enjoy it. Exactly like a movie. If you are seeing a movie on the cinemas hall in a screen, then what? And you are conscious, you are aware all the time that this is an apparent thing. That hero is apparent, heroine is apparent, their crying is apparent, their fighting is apparent. When you see everything is apparent, you enjoy, you relax. That same, on the contrary, it makes you happy. You get sometimes refreshed. But the same movie becomes a problematic when it is taken real. You take the hero to be real, villain to be real, and fighting to be real. The injuries to the hero is real. Hero is crying and there are some red stains here. You take it real as a blood stain, but actually it is Haridra Kumkumam. This Kumkumam, red Kumkumam is the offer to Bhagavan. That's all the spread here on the clothes, on the neck. Or sometimes I guess they might be using red lipstick. I don't know what it is, but some color. If you take it to be real, oh my God, hero is hurt. And that is a problem. Destroying the movie means discovering it to be apparent. And when you discover the apparent, then you enjoy it. That means when you discover it to be mithya, And whatever is seen, it doesn't matter to me. There may be a tragedy scene. There may be a comedy scene. There may be love scene. There may be a corporate meeting scene. It doesn't bother me. A gnani to this movie. As I knew those days, couple of ladies, I don't know, girls. Then they will comment. The heroine after the movie, do you know that heroine had worn that earrings? Did you notice? This is when they were singing the song, after some time from white dress to she came in a blue dress. At that time she had a blue earring. Did you notice? It's a very nice one. That is called Brahmagnanis with reference to movie. They are wise people. They are enjoying it. They don't get carried away. They see the style and the dressings. And I have seen that kind of people also when they're building a new home and they watch a movie and they discuss. That hero's home, that sofa set was really good. That design, I liked it. We should ask for that design. We should get that one in our new house. Mukta. So destruction of the mind is discovering its real nature. That is apparent. Okay? And when it is apparent, then you don't bother. Now, this laya, arresting the thought, movement of the thought, the speed and the quality, quantity and quality, both is arrested in laya. That is caused by pranaya. Okay, vinasha will take place by knowledge. I will see that and take discussion in the next verse. But that laya is like that when the mind is resolved momentarily. As I said, the thought, type of the thought and the speed is arrested. Quality and quantity. That is like deep sleep state. Momentarily, you have very few thoughts or practically nil thoughts. In sleep also, there is no thought. But then, similar like sleep, the fellow who slept was ignorant, correct? Ignorant about the self, ignorant about the Ishvara, ignorant about the nature of the world. And when that fellow wakes up, he continues to be ignorant. It doesn't happen that you slept as an ignorant person and woke up as an enlightened person. Unless you belong to some new sect, religion, where in dream, Lord Bhagavan comes and enlightens you. And then you tell that people and your followers believe that. This is the mandate. If you start like this religion, then that is okay. You become enlightened. But then the whole waking is apparent. And the dream is apparent of this apparent. You cannot, therefore, Jagat Vyavharika is mithya. And the dream is mithya, born out of mithya. If I can give an example, it is like seeing a movie in which hero and heroine is watching a movie. So the movie in the movie cannot be true for the audience. Similarly, in the dream I got enlightenment and I tell my people and people follow me. There is a saying in Hindi, Kehta bhi diwana, sunta bhi diwana. You cannot have that. Anyway, coming back to this, mind, absorption of the mind doesn't lead to enlightenment of the mind. When a mind is absorbed in a given thing, it doesn't gain any knowledge, any new knowledge. Because to gain the knowledge, the means to gain the knowledge is not absorption of the mind. The means to gain knowledge is proper means of knowledge. Suppose I can't see something in a pitch dark, and I close my eyes and I absorb my mind into something, and then I open, I'll continue seeing that. Because I have a cataract, thick cataract, I don't see anything. Okay? If there is a problem with my eyes, it is not going to solve by being absorbed. To enlighten the mind or enlighten myself, I need proper means of knowledge. And the proper means of knowledge for self-enlightenment, listen this carefully. Self-enlightenment is gained by studying a Shastra from a competent teacher, not otherwise. These people say this, in Samadhi I got enlightenment. That statement doesn't enlighten me any which way. It doesn't enlighten me. So, when you return from Laya, one cannot comprehend the truth. One cannot be wise. Or some psychic patients who have problem about the self-identity. When that person sleeps, and if he or she wakes up, he doesn't become enlightened. He continues to be confused as he or she was before he or she went to sleep. Therefore, Sri Ramana says, Layagatam punaha bhavati. When the mind is absorbed, it is punaha bhavati. Punaha bhavati means it comes back. When it comes back, it continues to be same ignorant mind. Swamiji would say, this was a typical Swami Dayananda's dictionary or his own word. An ignorant person, Agnani Jiva, he used to call that person as idiot. Okay? Ignorant person, he used to call it an idiot. That was his vocabulary, okay? His own personal language, word. Then he would say, idiot slept and woke up as idiot, nothing else. Only thing is he became refreshed idiot he is more freshened up to do more idiosyncrasies. Spread his idiosyncrasies to his wife and his family further. Yesterday he did enough and he is freshened up to do again. Similarly, he used to add this in meditation also. A fellow was restless, agitated, did some pranayama, and then came out of so-called samadhi. The agitated, restless idiot became a quiet idiot, but continues to be idiot ityartha. That was his standard statement. Ityartha. And then he would add if this idiot is quiet, I'm sure there is a problem. He would say, why? He himself will tell it. If you see a monkey meditating, it is one thing that you see 3 monkeys simultaneously meditating in Gandhiji's on table. That is a different. But if you in real life, if you see even a 1 monkey meditating, be careful. That's a psychic monkey. So this quiet idiot is a psychic idiot also. Because he is quiet. How can he be quiet? Basically, idiot ityartha. So, laya, anyway, coming back to this, layagatam punaha bhavati. Okay? Namrutam. Destruction is not a literal destruction. We are not trying to destroy the mind per se. If I put it in a known words, we are destroying the ignorance that is there in that the mind level, and that itself called destruction. Destruction of ignorance, self-ignorance, is termed as destruction of the mind. Why it is destruction? Because that ignorant mind alone is problematic mind. And that ignorance removed, mind is a beautiful instrument. And you need not destroy the mind also, because it is Bhagavad Srishti. It has been created by Ishvara. So you cannot, when nothing is created, when it is, if it is not created by you, why you bother to destroy it? And if it is, and when it is created by Ishvara, it has to be a beautiful creation, purposeful creation. So mind is given to you, all of us, to fulfill a purpose and use it. Why should we not use the mind? Understand? So the illuminant person has a very much mind with him. It is not that the illumined person becomes mindless. He has a very much mind, but then he or she is conscious about the apparent nature of the mind, because self-ignorance is removed. This is therefore, and once the self-ignorance is removed, once a person is illumined, he continues to be illumined person for all the time. Okay? Because knowledge is something which never knows to go. Once you know for good. And ignorance is something, once it is gone for good. You know, like even if I ask you what is the answer for 2 plus 2, it is always 4. It is known to you. So the knowledge, that being of the nature of, technically they say, pradvamsa abhavaha. There is no dvamsa, pradvamsa, end of knowledge. Never the knowledge will come to end or go away. That is the nature of knowledge. And therefore, no mrutam punaha bhavati. Ignorance, once it is gone for good. It is removed for good. And therefore, since ignorance is gone for good, the mind never will become ignorant one again, and therefore no mrutam punaha. And then, how to destroy the mind? And what is the benefit? What is the state of a person who has destroyed the mind? It means enlightened mind, that are talked in 14th, how to destroy, and what is the state of the life of an enlightened mind in 15th verse. We will take up that tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.